Well, welcome back to my channel. So, as you can tell, I'm in quarantine at the hotel. So, I am safe. I am re-recording this because I had recorded the whole thing, I think the night of when I landed. And the problem with that one was my phone was acting up, so it couldn't record it. So I recorded it on my laptop. The quality sucked. But also, it comes out to about an hour and a half. So I want to see if I can fit everything I said in that, shortened down, into something smaller and with better quality of my phone. If you know me personally, then you do know that I am the kind of person who does not like to show my emotion. I don't like to ask for help. I am quite stubborn. So I might tear up at this, talking about it still. I think I'm fine now. We will see. I also do have, the cold sore has gotten worse, but I cannot find my Abreva yet, so please just ignore that. Just don't look at that part of my mouth. But anyhow, so I left off on my videos on Friday. So Saturday morning, I woke up, everything was normal. I went downstairs, did the last bit of my packing. I had breakfast with Mom, she made me eggs, and I had my last Costco muffin. I had to be at my medical appointment for, Dad was trying to aim for 10:30, but it was fine because I talked to them. They said I could come at 11, so it was fine. There was some paperwork I was trying to find, and I was getting worked up. But anyhow, Dad packed the car, and it came time for me to say goodbye to Spencer. And so I put him into his crate like normal, like when I go shopping with my mom. I gave him a treat, and when I say treat, I mean his mobility, like medicine stuff. Mom's like, oh, it's a treat. Anyhow, I put him in, and he was fine. Well, actually, no, at first, he came right back out. He knew he didn't want to go in. I think it didn't help that he knows on Saturdays when Dad's home, he can be out and we play and we do all kinds of things. But like right away, we were putting him away into his crate. So I think he thought something was weird. He kept wanting to see where my luggage was. Anywho, I put him into his crate and I was about to leave. And now I usually don't go out the front door. I usually go out the garage. So I wonder if that possibly kind of gave him the signal that something's different. But anyhow, I went to turn and walk towards the front door. And all of a sudden, he started to howl and whine. Like, I've heard him whine when Mom goes to yoga on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but like never like this. It sounded like almost like murder. He was so upset. I couldn't even turn around to look at him. I just had to walk out the door, and I just kept walking like I knew I would have to that day. So it's like I was walking down my path. I had to keep going. So we got into the car and we just told Dad to go, like just leave the driveway. So we went. My mom was talking to my sister-in-law and my brother at some point along the way. And then we got to my medical and it was fine. She did the test, not even 10 minutes, and she had the results. It was like 8 minutes. Anyhow, we got to the airport after a little detour because Dad thought he knew the way. And then we got inside the airport and oh my God, the lineup. So I know that they only open up the gate 4 hours before. So we were there, I think at like 11:40-ish. And they would not open up till 12. And like in the airport, they have the line thing, like the separators. It was like 1, 2, 3. I was maybe at the corner of the 4th. But anyhow, I was the only person with 2 carts and 2 carry-ons, but that's because I need them. It looked like a lot of university students were on our plane, which makes sense because UFT and all the universities would have just been finishing exams. So while we were in the line, I had to download WeChat and get a WeChat account because of, I think it's because of COVID, but it might not be. So there was codes I had to scan and fill in with information for check-in and for landing. So it took a bit, but we were able to get the one for check-in. So 4 of my suitcases were fine. Actually, all of them were fine, except for my carry-on suitcase. It was over, so I had to fill up the pink bag, which still came out under 20. And that had to go into oversized baggage because of it being a cloth bag. So we took my pink bag to the oversized baggage area, which happened to be right near where I had to go in for the security checking and like stuff. So we decided to say goodbye right there. Dad hugged me. I was fine. No offense, Dad. But he said, I love you. I'm proud of you. I started getting like, okay, I know it's going to happen. I went and I hugged Mom. And that's when I broke. I'm getting a little teary-eyed. But so with Mom, we both knew that we'd be each other's like breaking point. And Mom knows with me, if I can't say I love you, it doesn't mean I don't mean it. It just means that I can't say it. And it would show in my voice that I was breaking. So I'm gonna stop myself. So Mom hugged me. She said she was proud, and I walked on. They watched me walk into security. I found out later Mom got a picture of me walking through. I had to stop and calm myself down. It was actually funny because like I wrote in my agenda or in my journal, I actually happened to look back right before going through the doors, and it was like a movie kind of thing. You know, in movies when people look back and then they see the person and then all of a sudden people walk in front and then poof, they just disappear. That was that, which in a way was kind of helpful, I guess. It made it easier for me to keep walking. So I went through security, put my bag in, and it was actually funny. I don't even know if my parents noticed, but I had my sunglasses on my head. And I walked through the security thing with that on, not realizing. And the gentleman was like, your glasses. And I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot. So he held them. I walked through, nothing went off. I purposely wore no metal so that I wouldn't be stopped. In my family, I'm always stopped. I always have something metal on. So, at the security area, they did have to take my stuff off the belt. They wanted to check my carry-on because it had a little like gum container of earrings that Mom and I put in, and then my laptop bag, my laptop was in there, so it had to actually be taken out. I didn't hear the person tell me that, so they went through and then it was fine. So by the time I got to the gate, I had about 2 hours to waste. At that time, I thought it was perfect to fill out the QR that I had to take at check-in for the plane. The first time, it actually got like wiped from my phone, and I was in such a panic. I was filling out some of the info and it just disappeared. And at this point, I didn't know how to work WeChat. Even right now, I still kind of only know a little. So they told me that, or I asked some girls beside me if they could help me figure it out. They tried, but it didn't work. So I was like, okay, what can I do? Instead of getting worked up, I thought to myself, I know that the desk at the gate don't come until about a half hour before. So I just sat there and tried to, I guess, take my mind off of that. I was talking to my HR. She didn't know that I was gonna need my WeChat. So half hour before I went over to my gate, I was at gate C30, I believe, and I was sitting at like 32 because it was so packed. And with quarantine, we're supposed to keep distance, like nobody was. So I moved myself to a further area and I sat there. In that time, that half hour before, I was able to scan the code again. They brought it up to the gate, and actually I asked somebody for help. So twice I asked for help in about 2 hours. And the lady there, she was like, yeah, I'll help you. Because some of it, they had to write it in Chinese because I did not know it or look it up on the Chinese side. So she did that all for me. I had enough time to go to the washroom and come back. And then they started boarding. I got on the plane. I did have the window seat, and I was told there was nobody in between it. So I was happy about that. I wanted at least a space between me and the next person. The person who sat with me was actually one of the girls I asked for help the first time. So we were sitting there together. When you got to your seat, there was 2 bags of like snacks and food. That had to do you for the flight. They were not doing meals at the time, and it's because of COVID, I believe, that meals were no more, even in first class. So we had our 2 bags. There wasn't many snacks because at the time, I didn't know if we get food, so I didn't want to eat everything. But I did take a water, a croissant, breadsticks.
しばらく会ってないよふわり漂う恋しい君のその香り僕たちの思い出記憶に残る Wanna stay inside your heart I'm on the way 久しぶりに君へ待ってくれてありがとう僕のこの胸に君を抱きしめたい久しぶりに君へ待ってくれてありがとう君がいる場所へ舞い降りる落ち葉のごとくリズム君抱く僕のこの心いつか森のごと青揺らし君包むよ森になり僕はいつまでも君を抱きしめるよ君と僕が共に歩んできた道繋ぐって不意に分かつ時もあった何も心配ないよもう大丈夫 Wanna stay inside your heart I'm on the way 久しぶりに君へ待ってくれてありがとう僕のこの胸に君を抱きしめたい久しぶりに君へ待ってくれてありがとう君がいる場所へ舞い降りる落ち葉のごとくリズム君抱く僕のこの心いつか森のごと青揺らし君包むよ森になり僕はいつまでも君を抱きしめるよ
So those clips that I just showed you, I'm not 100% sure, so don't hold me accountable for it. But when I looked at the map later, I saw that our plane was coming down and it was coming kind of like on the coast of China and Korea, South Korea. So I thought that was kind of funny about me because I originally wanted to be in South Korea. So it came down and it kind of went over Busan and then turned in to China. So I don't know, or not Busan, Jeju Island. But I'm gonna say, don't hold me accountable. I don't know 100% sure. I'm not really great with it all. I just know that I saw water on both sides. People were saying there was water and some islands. But either way, I want to believe that was Jeju Island. I got to see a bit of Korea on my way into China. That's my theory of it all.
り漂う恋しい君のその香り僕たちの思い出記憶に残る Wanna stay inside your heart I'm on the way 久しぶりに君へ待ってくれてありがとう僕のこの胸に君を抱きしめたい久しぶりに君へ待ってくれてありがとう君がいる場所へ舞い降りる落ち葉のごとくリズム君抱く僕のこの心いつか森のごと青ゆらしい君包むよ森になり僕はいつまでも君を抱きしめるよ君と僕が共に歩んできた道繋くって不意に分かつ時もあった何も心配ないよもう大丈夫 Wanna stay inside your heart I'm on the way 久しぶりに君へ待ってくれてありがとう僕のこの胸に君を抱きしめたい久しぶりに君へ待ってくれてありがとう君がいる場所へ舞い降りる落ち葉のごとくリズム君抱く僕のこの心いつか森のごと青ゆらしい君包むよ森になり僕はいつまでも君を抱きしめるよ久しぶりに君へ待ってくれてありがとう僕のこの胸に君を抱きしめたい久しぶりに君へ待ってくれてありがとう僕のこの胸に君を抱きしめるよ
So we still had about, I think, 2 hours left in the flight. It was actually starting to get dark. When we landed in China, it was nighttime. I got a bit of the sunset, as you could see. So when we landed, we actually landed a few minutes early, I believe. We were a few minutes late. It was supposed to be 7 o'clock on the dot. I think the wheels touched the ground at 7:05. But I got my screen at 7:07 when we pulled into our spot. As you could see by that clip of us coming into China, you could see buildings with the white lights and stuff. So I don't know if you could, but if you could see the lights and everything, that is what I know as the French Quarter. They call it here. It's a French architectural side of Shanghai, but either way. So, anyhow, when we landed, we are not allowed to get up out of the airplane. They called it by sections. So I was at the back of the plane, so we had to sit there for quite a bit. So what was actually kind of cool, I took it as well welcoming me, but when I flew in, it was the night before Labor Day here. So when I looked at the airplane, and you can see all the people like taking the luggage, I have a clip of that, but you could see a bit of fireworks out past the airport. So I was like, oh, they're welcoming me with fireworks. So me being full of myself, but aside from that, so they were taking groups of 6 to 7 people. I was, I don't know, maybe like the second group of my section. So I don't know how many people were before me, but we had 7 in our group, 3 girls, 4 guys. We would keep moving forward, but we had to keep stopping until the group ahead moved off. So by the time I got up and off the plane, it was about 8:18. So we landed at 7:05, 8:18, so about an hour of sitting and waiting. So once we got into the airport, they had to scan the QR code again. Like, that code got so many uses, but we went through there. I had to use it again, and they checked my temperature for the medical section. We also have to sign off on a piece of paper from the airplane. They gave us a piece of paper saying that I gave permission for them to do medical checks. I knew it would have to happen, so they gave it to us, and I signed it right away once I read it, because I know that I had to get COVID checks once I landed. It didn't bother me. So anyhow, it's scanned. And now what kind of got me stumped was when they scanned our codes and our heads, I don't know if it took our temperature or just to see if it was me from the QR. I don't know. But my face turned red on the screen. So I was like, oh no, it's like, gotta go in here, because there was a room to the side with about 12 chairs in rows of 3 spaced, and I thought that's where testing would happen, but no, she goes, go on. So I was like, okay, I guess I can go through. I got 2 stickers that said 219. So I took my stickers and I went down the hall, and it took me to a medical section with like actual booths, spaced chairs and everything. So, and now I know that there would be a language barrier, which did not bother me. I understood that there would be a language barrier. So when they were trying to tell me what I needed to do, like a gentleman was telling me, oh, and he could say passport. So I was like, okay, you want my passport? I gave it to him. Hold on. He would say passport. So I gave him my passport, but I didn't know what he needed. So then I found out he pulled the sticker from my other hand and put it onto my passport. So then I clicked in that one sticker had to go on my passport, one had to go on my medical. So if they needed to contact me or whatever to say that, oh, she came back positive, it would be 219. Anyhow, I did the test. They went nasal, cheek with 2 different swabs. After that, I thought I'd have to sit there and wait, but she goes, okay. And so I moved on. We went back up into the hall, which I thought was weird, where those 12 chairs were, but it kind of went, I was like, okay, I guess I go there to wait and sit and wait to hear my results. But no, it came to the side of there, which took me to customs, down a hall into the customs. So when I was on the plane, they gave me another code or another piece of paper where I had to fill out information, and it was basically for people like me, Westerns, coming into the country. So I had to give them my name, where I was traveling to, the flight number, all that. Then on the other side, there was a section where it said, do you have somebody in China related or like working for, kind of thing. So, and why I was going. So I put teacher, and I put Wendy because she is my contact person in China. If anything happens, they have to contact her. And I put her number. And then it asked for the town address. The only one I have is from my school. So the girl beside me actually was able to write it in Chinese for me, which was very, very nice. So I gave that to the customs. They asked me questions. I said teacher, English teacher to be exact. They took my fingerprints. Everything else seemed okay. I was there for a bit, but that was due to the language barrier. So I moved on from there to baggage was behind. So they had rows of all the luggage lined up. Mine were all scattered, but that was fine. So, and they were sprayed. You could see that they were damp. So, whatever. I went, got a cart, and loaded up all my luggage. My dad was worried I might not be able to do it. Well, I did. All by myself. It was not that hard. I actually have a picture of it, but I put my two biggest on the bottom, my pink on top, my backpack, or no, my carry-on, my backpack, and then my two blue that my mom and I got last year. They are the kind that like move whichever way you push your hand on them. My two other ones are from my grandparents. They don't do that. They're falling apart, kind of. So they were on the cart. Anyhow, I walked about what seemed like 5 feet, but maybe 10. I had to unload all the luggage to put through a scanner and then reload again. So I was so worried about the people behind me, but it was fine. I did it all. It was no problem. Then you come out from there through doors. You walk through, and it takes you out to the front of the airport where there were 2 buses. And they scanned my code again. I had no choice which one I got on. It kind of just went by which ones are full and which ones are empty. So they told me to go to the right. So I loaded up the luggage with the gentleman, and I got on my bus. Now, I thought the buses would not go far. So when we left the airport at about 9:13. So far it was all about 1 hour apart. So 9:13, I was on the bus. We loaded it up and we headed out. So I thought it would be the airport hotels, like the hotels right near the airport. But no, I was wrong. The bus kept going and going and going. Now, I know from my friend, he has told me it's kind of like the US. When you go to enter a highway, or what they call the toll roads, you pass a toll. So at the toll, we went right through, but I did notice that they were checking every car for green coats, and they were doing random pullovers. So your car would be pulled to the side, and you had to go and get tested under little tents. So, and I knew, so here, to enter new cities, you have to have a green coat saying that you are COVID safe and that you are from that town or that city, because if not, they have permission to deny you entry. So, and with coming into Hangzhou, I actually got exempt from the Shanghai stuff, so thank God for that. But we were traveling, and I was like, oh my God, this is never ending. So we came off the toll, and there was another toll booth, and they actually sprayed the outside of our bus. So I was like, I guess to kill any germs that were on the bus or any possible COVID. I don't know. So Anyhow, when we came off the toll, I could tell we were kind of on city streets. As we were driving, it it's like I drove right into my C dramas. You could see the houses. Okay, so really quick, I got to the hotel for at least my phone is at full. So really quickly, we got to the hotel at 11:11. If you know spiritually, 11:11 means it is an angel number. You are about to experience a great spiritual awakening. And I've been seeing 11:11s everywhere for at least the last month. So if you like my videos, please subscribe, hit that like button, also hit the bell so that you can get notified when I post my videos. I will post every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Canadian time or US time. So there's nothing much more here. So I'm big, I'm bold, and I'm loving my life.